Hey, how's it going, everybody? Yeah, I'm used to putting words in other people's mouths for a living, so this is a little bit of a different experience. David did a great job, and also on kind of drafting off of his note of some themes that have occurred. Some of my poetry, death, also one of them. So, in like weird, different ways. So, on that uplifting note, let's get into it. So this is a poem that's it's called "Love, the End," and it's sort of like a series of kind of photographs, if you were looking at it like that. So try and picture as the stanzas go along. Love, the End. A Jenga-like stack of lemon crates looks at home, standing next to a dusty pickup truck. You and me, standing in a house that is ours. One curly-haired kid hangs on your leg. Your belly is huge with another. Baby, high chair. Bowl of spaghetti worn as a helmet, with a look that says, "This doesn't feel as good as I expected." You, in a jungle of a sunroom, reading, writing, napping, under a mid-century lamp with a dog and a blanket. Us, old, smiling, still holding hands, still on that ugly couch. The grandkids have our laugh lines. Our lives, in collage, on a brass stand, surrounded by flowers, family, tears, and 2 urns. So let's lighten things up a little bit. My poems also, kind of vary in length. A lot of them tending towards the shorter side, as I'm constantly under a character count for a living. So I've tried to alternate them a little bit between long and short, so we get a little bit of pacing, so you guys can eat food and ignore some of the longer ones. This is a note for guests. Don't mind that pair of pants by the door. They're there because I often walk around naked and find it convenient in case someone should come calling. But don't worry, I won't need to use them while you're here. Back to the death theme. So I live in Salem, where the Poetry Festival is, where hopefully I see a lot of you faces at. And this one was actually written not too long ago, and it's called "Oh Christmas Tree." Oh Christmas tree, lying half dead on the sidewalk the morning of March 7th. You gave everything. Here are a few last words for you. You were a good tree. So good, you almost saw one more spring. And even here, now, are half green. Oh, the memories they made because of you. Months of them. And you radiating cheer all the while. You've been in countless Instagrams, one of which was almost certainly tagged, "Best tree ever." They didn't need a filter for you. With every present entrusted to your watch, you stood tall until the glory of Christmas morning, and long after. But a lone tree amidst a forest of holiday tchotchkes only grows weak. Oh, Tannenbaum, rest in peace on earth. You've done your work. Join the triumph of the skies. So, I noticed that, probably based on working in advertising for a living, some of my poems have these weird, vaguely commercial inspirations and things like that. Because I think about a lot of stuff. A lot of the time, most of us try and ignore and try and figure out ways to make us not ignore it. So this was actually something that was born out of a half-cocked idea for some weird ad that's better than never happened. I didn't get it into that format, but I got into a poem, so that's a win. It's called "Concerns of a Crying Baby Doll in Need of New Batteries." I worry that I don't cry. Am I broken? Please fix it. It would make me so happy to cry again. But I don't know how to tell you. So, again, this is another kind of media type inspired poem that was just started, flipping between channels. So it's sort of a vague, parallel between stream of consciousness of thought and what happens, if you flip through and just keep clicking, clicking, and clicking, and clicking, which I think is a familiar thing for most of us. And for those of you who do that, just be aware, I lived with a psychologist one time who talked to me about LOP theory, least objectionable programming. And it basically is you don't really watch, on TV always what is good or what you even want to watch, but it's just like the least offensive thing that's on. So anytime you find yourself maybe doing some of the things in this poem or, think about LOP theory, because it's something that when I was made aware of it, I was like, yeah, okay, it was probably time better spent. And one of those things was what drove me to write this. It's called Flipping Between Channels. I don't like who you are. Who are you? You invent lies and get paid handsomely for doing so. I got this beautiful woven placemat from a Navajo in Arizona. I love these radiant oranges and electric yellows, earthy browns, and black shadows. But it started to fray because I loved combing the edges with my fingertips. So I brought it inside, where I eventually unraveled it completely. Doctor, what are we going to do with you now that your little scheme is kaput? You're worth nothing, dead or alive. Remember, you're too smart to be this fucking crazy. Stop shouting. Whoa, calm it down. Who the fuck are you? Chill, man. All right. Why don't you fucking chill, man? All right, guys, cut the shit. I see reflections in all of your boots, helmets, and I see a glint in each man's eye. Is it fear? All the soldiers say together, no, sir. I didn't think it was. I knew it was. At this point, I'm beyond freaking out. Or am I just saying that? I think you get in trouble when you start asking yourself questions. Really? There he goes again. Who? Me? Yes, you. Oh, what do you want? You to stop asking questions. Why? I was in a race to somewhere. I'm not sure why. I didn't even really want to go there. It just seemed like how it was supposed to be. I'm glad you threw on the brakes. It probably saved our lives. Meh, nothing's on. Bedtime? So we're going to switch to a shorter poem again. Pacing. This one, I don't know if you guys change your desktop backgrounds, but I do, and I'll go through a spurt of them on my computer or phone, and then one just kind of languishes there for a while, and then there's another burst, or I change it every day, and then I'm like, whatever, this thing's fine. So one of the things that was on there for a while is actually another element that's in a lot of my poems, which is food, like sandwiches in particular. So this is a word of warning on using food as a desktop background. If you stare at a photo of a delicious-looking sandwich long enough, it may or may not make you hungry, but it will probably make you make a sandwich. That happened way more times than I even thought about. Something with subliminal advertising, I guess. So this one, on a slightly more somber note, this was, I went to visit my grandfather in a nursing home, and I hate nursing homes. I think we probably all do for the reasons that bring us there. But it was fall, and it was sad, and there was just some parallels that I thought between the leaves and between, the trees when they die and us when we die. So this is called On Saying Goodbye. The blackout days, they came in waves, and darkness crept upon us. The time when trees start weeping leaves, forming lakes of gold and rust. Changing color, gently falling, the leaves lie there, so still, looking up at us, looking down at them. There's nothing left to feel. So the next one I got is called Note on a Coffee Table. I've spent too much time at home. If I ever tell you I'm planning to move back, talk me out of it. My overcoat is underused, and my trench coat has never seen the trenches. So I don't know how many of you guys are fans of records or Van Morrison, but I'm a fan of both. And I listened to a lot of Tupelo Honey, probably too much, like wore out the record for a while. And it was always a good compromise of, okay, we have to clean and do chores, but if we can rock out some Tupelo Honey, it like takes the edge off a little bit. So that's what this is about, and it's called Tupelo Honey. We used to dance in and out of sunspots on the carpet, screaming harmonies into mop handles and vacuum attachments, rocking so hard the record skipped, but we'd always pick up where it landed. We didn't care. We used to dance. So this next one has a terrible working title. So let's just go with untitled for now. But it's a simple, sweet poem that I enjoy writing, and whenever I like find it again, I enjoy reading it. So that's why it's here now. And the poor title is Brown Bag Lunch, because that's when I had this idea. I'd like to paint the sky on the inside of your umbrella, so that the sun would come out in the rain and follow you overhead. Also, train poems. I spend a lot of time on the train, do a lot of reading, a lot of writing, and I don't know. If any of you guys take the T regularly, it is just a font of insanity and inspiration. So some of this comes from that. It's called Colombian Funeral. A hot black coffee napalmed the subway floor. Casualties include designer leather shoes and countless beings who gave their life. For what? Nobody asks. As the steam rises, an ivory tissue petal mops up the brown blood on his black soul. Finance section buried in the pit of his arm. So yeah, like another kind of weird take on death. Like people dying, whatever, but like trees and sandwiches and coffee, these things move me. So on that note, transition into a sandwich poem. It's called An Everyday Guillotine. From the heart of the block, the knife handle looms. Its shadow sweeps over the scarred desert of the cutting board, dry from overuse, marking time until the next feeding. And I, the crumb, lie in wait, unable to tremble, unable to warn my mother. Just in case anyone doubted the sandwich as a running theme in my poems, here's another one. It's called When There Is More Between Us. When you brought me my sandwich, I knew. Unburdened of crust, laden with love, laced with guilt. The plate, wet with the sweat of your brow, hit the desk heavy. Drawn apart sharply in two, insides oozing out the naked ends of both halves, the center left empty. Crumbs there for me to connect. Because that's a crappy way to end. We'll go out on a lighter note. This is called Oh My Darling. Oh my darling, I love your face. When you're not around, I print pictures of you and staple them to clementines just so I can bite it. Don't worry, I spit out the staples. So, thank you, Lauren, and everyone for coming here. And on to the next reader. Thank you very much.